bathrooms were hers too, while the family room, which by all rights should definitely have been theirs, was his. On the other hand, their bedroom, which they both loved, was hers, while the garage, which neither of them particularly wanted, was his. The yard, being apart from the house, had somehow managed to wind up being theirs, which meant that whoever complained about it had to do something about it. All in all, Sally decided as she wandered into her kitchen and began making a pot of tea, the division of the house and yard had worked out very well, like everything else in their marriage. She stared at the pan of water on the stove and idly wondered if it was true that as long as she watched it, it wouldn't boil. Then, for her own amusement, she picked up a pencil and began jotting figures on the scratch pad beside the telephone. Figuring the resistance of the metal in the electrical coils, the power of the current, and the volume of water, she came to the conclusion that the water should start boiling in 8 minutes, give or take 15 seconds, whether she watched it or not. And that, she thought as the water began bubbling right on time, is the pleasure of having a mathematical mind. She poured the water over the tea bags and carried the pot and a cup back to the desk. Much of the clutter was made up of computer printouts, and it was Sally's job to analyze the program of which the printouts were the results. Somewhere in the program there was a bug, and the college admissions office, which had dreamed up the program in the first place, had asked Sally to find it. The program, designed to review the records of hopeful high school seniors, had disqualified every applicant for the fall semester. When Sally had suggested that perhaps the program was perfect and the applicants simply weren't qualified, the dean of admissions had been less than amused. Soberly, he had handed Sally the program and the output and asked her to find the problem by Monday morning. And find it she would, for Sally Montgomery, as well as being beautiful, was brainy. Too brainy for her own good, her mother had always told her. Now, as she began analyzing the program in comparison to the printout it had produced, she could almost hear her mother's voice telling her she shouldn't be down here working in the middle of the night. She should be upstairs, loving her husband. "You'll lose him," Phyllis Payne had told Sally over and over again. A woman's place is in the home, loving her husband and her children. It's not normal for a woman your age to work. Then why did I go to college? Sally had countered back in the days before she'd given up arguing with her mother. Well, it wasn't to major in mathematics. I'd always hoped you'd do something with your music. Music is good for a woman, particularly the piano. In my day, all women played the piano. It had gone on for years. Sally had finally stopped trying to explain to her mother that times had changed. She and Steve had agreed from the start that her career was every bit as important as his own. Her mother simply couldn't understand, and never missed an opportunity to let Sally know that in her opinion, the only one that counted, of course, a woman's place was in the home. Maybe it's all right for women to work down in New York, but in Eastbury, Massachusetts, it just doesn't look right. And maybe, Sally reflected as she spotted the error in the program and began rewriting the flawed area, she's right. Maybe we should have gone out to Phoenix last year and gotten out of this stuffy little town. I could have found a job out there, probably a better one than I have here. But they hadn't gone. They had agreed that since Sally was happy at the college, and Steve saw a glowing future for both of them in Eastbury's burgeoning electronics industry, they should stay right where they were, and where they'd always been. Until the last few years, Eastbury had been one of those towns in which the older people talked about how good things used to be,